Hello, 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 everybody. Good morning. How you doing? Is everybody good? Are you happy? Are you awake? Are you dragging it? Are you begging for coffee? Or is it late at night where you are? Where are you guys? Um, Welcome to Color and Chat with Joanna. I'm Joanna. Just in case, you know. People are like, "Who are you? Who are you anyway?" Um, Thought I'd do a little whip in chat. I don't know. Now look at this disaster area. Do you see all these colors? All these colors are in this tiny little square. But look, we have a house. There are windows with little bright lights in them, and I am feeling. I tell you, I'm like, oh my God, here, let's get another color. I mean, it's like color, color, color. I should have multiple trays. Live and learn. Maybe next time I'll bring out all the trays and number them. I don't think it really makes that much difference because the in the long run, um, I'm still spending time looking for the trays. So, I definitely have learned when you're doing any kind of structure, like when I did Notre Dame, I had a big architectural structure there. And oh my God. I mean, I had multiple trays out and it was still like exhausting. At one point, I was just like, I hate you. I don't want to finish you. But it had such a emotional meaning to me because that's where I got engaged. My husband used to work for the airlines, and we could fly to Paris. Believe it or not. Do you see more black? See, no more black. This is how it is. It just goes on and on. Um, you could fly for free. Well, you'd have to pay taxes. So for two first class tickets round trip, we paid $40. Yeah, I know. I know back in the day. Oh, I miss those days. And he was going to propose to me at the Eiffel Tower. We went to the Eiffel Tower. I gotta tell you guys. Now, I know it's like a wonder of the world and all that, but what a freaking dump. I mean, it smelled like ew. It just smelled like old urine from men who drank cheap wine. You know? You ever It's sort of like when you eat asparagus and your urine has that weird smell. Yeah, that's it. It stunk so bad there. And I was like, and there was trash everywhere. And I was like, well, I'm so glad we came here to the most romantic. I mean, at one point I was just holding my nose. I couldn't even take it anymore. It was just so gross. It was nasty. I was like, sweetheart, is it just me or are you gagging too? And he went, no, totally gagging. I'm trying to use up this old wax and it's probably a waste of time because I can tell it's all gummy and it ain't it ain't sticking a lot. Anyway, it was so rude and foul, and there were a bunch of really nasty tourists there. They were from Brazil. Nothing against Brazil, but you guys, the little clan that came, they were actually coming. Um, oh, sorry, the fire department is rolling in. I don't know why. Hope my house isn't on fire. I'll let you know. But anyway, just nasty group, like they were coming in to do like a protest because France loves a good protest. And these people obviously saw Les Miserables one too many times and they thought they were going to be a part of it. And I was like, this is really a hostile environment. I mean, you know, I wanted to, go up the elevator and really see Paris, and I'd never been there before. Well, we got the hell out of there. We couldn't take it. We were like, ew. So he said, "Well, where else would you like to go?" And I said, "You know what? Okay. Now I'm a Catholic. I'm a bad Catholic. I'm a mandatory holiday Catholic. Mandatory holiday, Easter, Christmas, and maybe Advent kind of a thing. I don't know. I mean, I used to be all in Catholic. I actually went to a class and got ordained by the bishop, and I was able to serve communion. And that was fun. I didn't get to do it that much because, they really don't like women serving communion. So I had to really fight to get in there. But I could hear my mother's voice coming from the grave. There you go, darling. You go show those Catholic Church people. Go tell them. Go tell the Pope you're good enough to serve communion as much as anybody else. And you can do it. And it really was like a heart mission for me. Um, I think I got in trouble though, because one little boy, he was a rotten little kid. He was just a rotten little kid. And if you have kids, in every neighborhood, in every classroom, there's one. There's that one kid. He's going to pick on your kid and he's going to be just a little asshole. Okay? And yes, I know it's not nice to call children assholes, but he was acting like such an asshole. And he had been picking on my son, and he came up with his mother. Now, he had not gone through the communion class, the process. You have to go to class, and then they dress you up in a little white suit and make you look like a saint when you're really not. And all the little girls look like little brides, and you know and then you're able to receive communion, and it's a big deal in the Catholic Church. So if you're not in the Catholic Church, I'm just giving a little tutorial. Anyway, he had not received communion yet. So what they would do is they would cross their hands over their chest, you know, like, no, I haven't received communion yet, but you can bless me. And the priest would put his hands over the boy or the girl's head and, God bless you and keep you. And so this little guy was in my line. It was a big church, by the way. So, we needed anybody we could get to serve communion. There's a priest shortage anyway. Like there's a nurse shortage. There's shortages everywhere. People are running out of reasons to do particular jobs. They're not being treated respectfully, and this is happening. Anyway, so back to the story. Oh, by the way, did I mention I'm a little ADD today? Okay, so he came up, and I looked at him, and my husband is holding the wine. He does the wine, I do the wafer. And I looked at him and I said, huh, you want to be blessed, don't you? And he said, yes, ma'am. And I was like, do you think you deserve to be blessed today? I said, Lord bless you and keep you and make you kind. And then I served communion to the mother, and she gave me the side eye. But she knew, you know what your kids are. We're not stupid, okay? But anyway, it was kind of a funny moment. So after communion was over, and we were back in the make ready room, and I took off my robe. I wore it was like a Judge Judy robe. It wasn't like popey robe. They get the fancy embellished stuff. I just get whatever got left behind and hopefully got dry cleaned. Anyway, they gave me the look like, Joanna, and our Monsignor was Irish. So he knew there was trouble coming just having me there. And he said, Joanna, we don't we're not supposed to hold these children in judgment. I said, well, who the hell does? That kid's an asshole. He's tried to beat up my son 3 times this week. They all laughed and they said, we'll talk about it at lunch. And I was like, well, okay. I'm not gonna sit and play dumb and pretend that. Hold on, I gotta stop for a second and actually do some work here because I gotta tell you guys, this thing is driving me crazy. I'm so close to being finished, I can feel it, and I'm like, I want to be done. This was a Christmas project, and it's taken 10 times as long um, to do. Anyway, so I went to pick up my son from school on Monday, and I saw him, and I gave him that side eye, and I went, God's watching you. You're on notice. And he was just like scared to death of me. He thought I was going to condemn him to hell, and that I had the power to do that because I was giving him communion, so his mother, he's probably in therapy for it right now. I'm sorry, little boy, but you shouldn't be mean to people. Don't be a freaking bully. Anyway, if he found out it was me, he'd probably like, okay, I'm suing her for therapy right now. I don't know. Maybe he should just start diamond painting. I find that diamond painting is a total anxiety eater. I mean, this thing just takes it all away. Now, do I get aggravated with it because sometimes it's a little more complicated than I signed up for? Yeah, I do. But then, after all of these frustrating little moments, because this one, and I've done a couple that have been really, like the Josephine Wall and that kind of thing, really time consuming. The reward that you feel in your heart. Oh, it's so wonderful. I can't wait to hang this on the wall and put a frame in her and just say, I did that. Yeah, there's something to show for it at the end of the day. So, but I did get some smaller ones recently, and I'm going to get a few that are on the fun side because I have in my stash quite a few that last year I just went crazy. I wanted big, 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 big. I wanted, monsters. And this year I'm kind of wanting the mice. The mice or the monster. Pick one. But anyway, so we went to DC this weekend and we had such a beautiful time. The weather was cold, but very clean and very brisk. I had to walk a full city block around to get to this restaurant, even with my husband dropping me off, because you have to kind of walk around the back and it's on the bay. And my knee did not go out on me one time. It did not. It did not go out. Thank God. Oh, I was so excited. I was like, yay. Anyway, so I went to therapy yesterday. Yesterday I had water therapy at the pool, and we got a trainer, who came to fill in for, the hell am I? I just got lost in the woods. You know when you can't see the forest for the trees? I'm that close to finishing this square. Um, we got a trainer from another. Where's the top hat? Oh God, I should know this by heart by now, but I don't. Um, we got a trainer from another facility, and I'd never met her before. And she was like, okay, let me see where you're at. What is your pain level? And I was like, I would say like a 2 or a 3. I said, I walked a lot yesterday, so I kind of expected, well, I mean, a couple of days ago, I told her, because of going to DC. When you're walking in Arlington, I mean, the grass is wet. Oh my God. Um, 44. Another color. Aha. Let's just add him to the pile. I know I got to put all these away. But, anywho, she, uh, it's really interesting when you get a different physical therapist. They all have their own way of doing it. And she had me doing some lunges and, oh man, just there's this one guy in my group. His name is Richard, and he was talking about all the sharks, coming up on shore. And I was like, yeah, what is that about? I'm afraid to let my dogs even get a foot of water under them because, these sharks are coming up in 1 or 2 feet of water. And I said, it must be the climate. And he was like, nope, nope, it's revelations. So I was like, oh shit, here we go. And he was like, this is revelations. This is us. All these storms, and and I appreciate people having an opinion. God knows I have mine. Um, but I was like, well, I happen to think it's climate change and something with the climate because we've had. Now, I live in Delaware. Delaware's right next door to New Jersey. We've had like 7, and it's the saddest thing to see, 7 beached big blue whales. Like, we don't even have blue whales. Like, blue whales are usually in Cancun about this time of year. We're not in their migratory um, pattern at all. And, it's very, very unusual. So I do believe more in climate than revelation, but I don't know everything. What do I have to say? I'm like, you have your opinion, you're entitled to it. And the therapy girl got really kind of bent out of shape, and I said, listen, I said, you know what my word is for the year? And she said, you have a word? I said, yeah, I get a word in my head. And it usually comes to me around New Year's Eve or the day after. Um, and it's just I try to be accountable to the one word and kind of just keep it in my head. One word is really easy to keep in your head. When you're trying to keep a list of things to do, it's a whole different story. But last year, my word was flexible. Be flexible. Okay, you want to move to Delaware. You want to get out of Texas. I get it. You want to be by the beach. I get it. You're not going to get a mansion by the beach. Be flexible. Get what you can get. And then we applied for this apartment, and it was still under construction. It wasn't even built yet. It's brand new, which was kind of exciting for me because I've never lived in a brand new um, apartment before where, everything was new. I mean, the granite was new and everything was, it's like nobody's ever lived there. Excuse me. Hold on. I gotta find a guy and he's always hard to find. Okay. 18. Oh, God. So many colors in this little square. This is really complicated. Okay, so I said, you know, can we attempt to? Well, we applied and we heard nothing back. And then finally, the chick calls us and says, you're approved. You're good to go. I'm like, who's good to go? Who's good to go? And then we didn't hear from her for like a month or 2 months, and I was so scared. I think I have a paper cut. Hello, puppy. There's a big fat Wally dog in my room. Hello, Georgie Porgy Putty Pie. Georgie Porgy Putty Pie. Anyway, I'm sorry. If I don't say hi to him, he'll bug us. Anyway, it took forever. I mean, she just was so busy, renting apartments. She couldn't get back to us right away. But, I said, be flexible. If she can't do it, we'll get something else. I don't care if we wind up, in Dumpsville. We can always relocate or something, or we'll house shop when we get here. Which, by the way, was the smart thing to do because trying to house shop when you're in another state, oh, they don't even pick up the phone for you. I mean, Delaware is like that. The entire state that I live in has less than 1 million residents. I had more than 1 million residents, in the city I lived in Dallas. So, it has a whole different vibe and a whole different feeling. And, people are like, Della, where? I'm like, yeah, Della here. We're here. And because I use the word flexible in my head, I feel like we had a lot less stress getting here. Now, my word for this year is accountability. Okay? I want to be accountable. I'm not telling anybody else to be accountable, but I want to be accountable because I'm sorry, I've got sand under my nails. I live too close to the beach and I pick up sand everywhere. Um Being accountable is just saying I'm going to show up. And you know what? My word really should be more tolerant because, I mean, just because I don't agree with Richard or I don't think we're in the end of days or it's the apocalyptic, hell or whatever, um, doesn't mean I can't get along with Richard. And Richard, it turns out that he was an EMT. Um, and he worked as a nurse in the hospitals for years and years, before he got hurt. And now he only has 40% of his lungs that work. So, my whole thing is to keep Richard encouraged, and say, just swim in the water, honey. Just relax, relax. This water will take away a lot of stress for you and everything. And, you know, uh, if he gets winded at all, I mean, Ryan will usually yank him right out of the pool. He'll say, "Okay, that's enough for today. Go home, rest." He won't let him overdo it at all. But this girl, this villain, I kind of wanted to pull her aside a little bit, and I did. And I told her, I said, "Listen, Richard has, I don't know what you have in your sheet, but he has real respiratory issues. So I'm a little protective over him." And she was like, "Oh, that's nice of you." I said, "Yeah, plus I want to encourage him because he feels really, he's very, very big man, very large, overweight. Um, but, just because he feels the way he feels about the revelation doesn't mean I should discount him or well, I'm not going to have anything to do with that guy because you know we're all going to be a little different, okay? Not one single one of you. And I love my subscribers because we have this. This is our common ground. But we can talk about other things too. I'm definitely the girl who will go out of the box. I will talk about everything and anything that people don't feel like is politically correct. I'm not correct. I don't follow those rules. I'm a little bit of a rebel. But doesn't mean I can't like Richard and I can't respect Richard for who he is and the things he does. And I think you should all take a moment. Just because you don't agree with everything doesn't mean you can't agree with anything. So, anyway, so for me, this year is about accountability. If I say I'm going to the pool, I'm going to the pool. If I am going to meet with a therapist, I'm going to meet with that water therapy. And oh, she worked me like a dog, by the way. But anyway, so, okay, I'm going to let you go. We have a house, we have a square. Just in case you have not seen, I keep all of my sheets in a book like this. This is what we're working on right here. This girl. And oh my God, she is very, very complicated and detailed. 104 centimeters by 70 centimeters. We're almost there, people. We're at the middle. I always do this. I work one end and then I work the other end. Like this end is all done. Look. Everybody went, "What are you doing? Wait a minute." Anyway, I'm going to put all these away and try to do a little bit more. I'm listening to The Spare, the book about Prince Harry. It's very good. I don't no matter what side of the fence you're on with Harry, which by the way, I'm wild about Harry. I think he's so cute and so funny and you know, uh I'm learning about him. I'm learning about him because you know what? You can say what you want, but until I read the book myself or hear the book, I'm listening to it on audio. Um, I can't make up my own opinion on fodder and gossip from other people. I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. So I'm going to go listen to the horse. In the meantime, you are important to me. You're important to me. So be important to you and love yourself and be kind to you because you're the warrior. You are your own best advocate. And I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Shine, shine, shine on. Love you. Bye.